All right, hey guys, this is a pepino dulce plant. These were propagated from cuttings, and the reason why we are propagating these is as a ground cover layer in our Syntropic food forest. We are missing a lot of the bottom layers in our food forest, and these are the ones that we have chosen to be one of our support layers. It is a fruiting ground cover layer, grows about 2 feet, sometimes even just 3 feet high. It really gets bushy, and it produces a fruit that supposedly kind of tastes like a mild cucumber mixed in with a little bit of melon. I'm not a big fan of it, but my wife really likes it. We're not necessarily growing it for the fruit, but as a chop and drop and ground cover layer in our food forest. And I'll show you how we harvest this thing. Look at that. This was put in here as a cutting maybe about 2 months ago, maybe even less. And look at those roots. It roots really easily. And one of the qualities that we're looking for in a support plant or tree is easy propagation. We don't want anything that's expensive. And this is really nice. Look at that, just from a cutting. You could turn one plant into hundreds, even thousands. And this will survive the winter here in zone 10B. I believe it can survive even lower than that. It's a perennial. You plant it once and you forget about it. And that's what we want in our food forest. We want our food forest to survive on neglect with occasional maintenance that we love to do anyway. So look at those. Okay. We like plants, support plants that are not fussy. They just want to live with very little input. All right, that should be enough. This is gonna be, we don't want it to be too much work. All right, so here are lavenders that we propagated and that we're gonna harvest today. Well, I'm gonna check to see if it's rooted. Just gonna pull on it a little bit. Okay. It's got roots. Yep, it's got roots. Not a lot, but it's got roots. Enough for us to plant out there. Why lavenders? Lavender brings in beneficial insects. Lavender repels gophers. And lavender is so easy to grow. You literally take a cutting and just stick it into the ground. So we probably don't even need to propagate this like this. We actually are just taking cuttings and just spreading them everywhere. These ones are even better rooted here. Feed this to our chickens. I don't like removing these dandelions because we can just use them. I usually just pick out the leaves and feed this to the chicken. This is highly nutritious to the chickens. So I really kind of didn't want to just pull it out, but kind of had to at that point. You know, lavenders do not like pure compost. Well, they like breathable soils. They like soils that can breathe. So if you're gonna plant them in a pot, use sand. You can mix your native dirt with at least 60% sand and it will do well, or 60% sand, 40% peat moss, and it will do fantastic. And I think we're ready to harvest this banana here as well. Look at that banana. In a future video, I'll show you the secret to propagating bananas. I like to trim off the tops, remove some of the leaves whenever we break off some of the roots. And look at this lavender that is thriving on neglect that we planted a year ago. This was last fall, and believe it or not, this was planted via cutting. It was a cutting that we planted during the rainy season in the fall, winter. And look at this. And we chopped and dropped this multiple times. We will hedge trim this section to make sure it doesn't get into our pathway. It's literally just hedge trimming this and it will become part of the fertility.
Nature's gifts from high to low, caring for the earth we love, help from the sky above. If the veggies taste the best, nature gives and never rests. Let's plant more, dig in the dirt.
Let's not forget to water, otherwise this would all be pointless. So I like to work on sections at a time and just take my time, because there were times when I planted a bunch of stuff and I missed a lot of plants that I planted, and it was just pretty much a waste. So just make sure we thoroughly water these things.